Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Detour Live. I'm your host Dan Jones, joined as always, four-time national champion from Australia, who's really soaking up the atmosphere there at the Giro, John Trevorrow, and another special guest who's a regular on the show. But I do take a lot of feedback, and the common feedback is we just don't mention Bike Exchange Jayco enough, and it'd be good to get a rider from that team on to give some more insights. And that's why we've got Sam Bewley just to level it out. And Bulls joins us live from Girona. How you travelling, Bulls? Been watching much of the Giro?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. I watched, when I say a bit of it, I watched all of the stage yesterday on Etna, and I watched none of the stage today. So you get a mixed bag from me on this show.
Well, let's talk about 2 stages ago.
Bulls.
And how are you going, John?
Good stuff. I'm going well. Yeah, very good day today. Very relaxing for me. I had Vittorio Adorni, a bit of a character, DS with Bike Exchange Jayco, and he drove. There he is in the background there. Yes, that was our bottle point, 147k or something.
Very nice colour on you, John. Blue really brings out your features.
Back and yeah, exactly, and fell asleep half the time, but. Yeah, actually, tougher stage than people thought it was going to be. That little bump in the middle of the stage.
If you look at the video yesterday, I said, "Oh, geez, that climb's a bit of a concern, John." With Caleb and Cavendish, you go, "Nah, mate, should be a bunch sprint. They'll get through that." I said, "Well, yeah, I suppose there's 100k to go." And look what happened.
Oh, Caleb should have got through. He's been unlucky. He had a mechanical. He would have been there, no worries.
His quote after the finish was, "I had to change my wheel at the bottom of the climb. It was the worst possible timing. The team did what they could to come back, but it was impossible against all the other teams."
And they did. Yeah, that's how it was. But a stage gone, although, I knew it was great in the sprint, but big chance for Caleb gone. That's bikes, as they say in the classics.
All right, well, we'll unpack the stage in just a little bit, but before the start, you caught up with Caleb Ewan.
How are you feeling?
Should be another sprint today. There's a big climb in the middle of it, which will be tough, but it's still, I think, from the top about 90 kilometers to the finish, so even if we do get dropped, there's still a good opportunity to come back, but should be another opportunity.
So your form's obviously very good, and even though you're too far back the other day, your actual data showed that you were the fastest at the finish. So it looks like another real good duel between you and the Cav.
Yeah, I'd like to go head to head with him. So hopefully today we'll see. Cav and I go head to head, but first this climb, and then we'll reassess, and hopefully I'm still there in the bunch.
Good, thanks, mate. Cheers. See you, mate.
Now, obviously, it's past tense, so I don't know how many of the pre-race videos we're going to run, but it was a good grab. Now, you also caught up with Alan Davis. It was a good interview because it gives you some insights into what goes on behind the scenes, particularly around fines. This is Albie before the start.
Okay, here we are at the Lotto bus, about to start stage 5, and with me I've got Alan Davis, LB Davis, who is the legend of Australian sprinting and now the chief kahuna of the organisation of the sprint train at the Lotto team. So, a big day for you blokes, mate.
It is, Johnny. It is a big day. We've had, not a bad Giro so far, a bit of bad luck, and then things didn't go to plan on the last sprint day, but one presents itself today, so we'll go again.
So I saw your name popped up on the results sheet last night for getting a fine. I found that hard. You weren't even driving. What happened, mate?
Yeah, I got the fine as being DS1, but just my driver actually in my car. At the moment, we had Caleb had to change the bike, so his chain twisted in the crash before. So we're in the convoy with Caleb working with him, and at the same time we've got a call over the radio, a motorbike's run into our rider, Roger Kluger, so he needs a bike change and new shoes. So we had 2 situations unfold, and obviously the driver tried to get to Roger as fast as possible because he couldn't go anywhere without a bike or shoes. And one of the corners, the car sort of just locked up the wheels, and just skidded a little bit in the corner. And at the end of the day, I got a fine for being DS1 and relegated to last in the convoy for, I think it was danger, putting public in danger.
So you get a fine for sliding down a corner and not doing any damage, and yet their motorbike crashes into the bunch, and I didn't see a fine there.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you mentioned the Giro so far. You mentioned that how good Caleb was on that uphill finish, but got it wrong 2 days ago. You know, what do you think was the problem?
The boys were doing a really good job. As we know, it's really hectic, these Grand Tour stages, and really the road blocks from the peloton a long way out. So people have to find their position earlier than normal. And our guys were doing a really good job protecting Caleb. He had a sweet ride. He mentioned it. He hadn't even touched the pedals. And they all lost each other basically at 1.6 to go. There was a reference point of 1 to go. It really narrowed around a roundabout, and then it was downhill, fast finish. So the boys didn't have time to. First of all, they lost each other. Got in the wish-wash, got put back. You know, Caleb was actually, I don't know, probably 30th, and the other two in front of him were like in between 15th and 30th. And they were alone at that stage also, so they weren't united and able to, get back to the front. And timing, we didn't have more time to get to the front. And Caleb come from the clouds and did the best sprint on data. It was clear and finished 8th. So just too far back, and that's how sprinting goes sometimes, mate. We did a good debrief. I had a good yarn to the boys, and we just finished our meeting now and for today's stage, and we're ready to go today.
So the big deal, you don't want to give away too much because the whole world watches this, of course. But so just learn from that and move on.
Absolutely, it's part of the life, isn't it? You learn from your mistakes and try to implement it into the future.
Thanks, Albie.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Just learn from your mistakes and move on. They got a chance on today's stage, but we haven't even mentioned the winner, Arnold Demar. Fantastic victory by the Frenchman.
Good sprint. Yeah, solid sprint. Yeah. Yep. Interestingly, we see Gaviria crosses the line and bounces his bike in frustration because something was wrong with his bike. And he was actually sprinting on about 20 points lower gear. So he was valve bouncing because he couldn't get his bottom cog. So he wasn't happy. Now, I've just had David McPartlin, who's in the room next door, and he's just, we're going to tape him, but bugger it. He's here. We're going to have him live. So I thought I'll whack Macca in. Who better to give a quick wrap of that stage than the man who was right behind them all the way?
That's right, John.
Good idea.
Should give you some good insights. Hey, Macca.
So I'll move this around and here we go.
Now, Macca, obviously, first obvious question is you've had 2.5 years without the team mascot / pest. How's he going?
It's nice to have him back, Jonesy. He's as you say, he's a team mascot, and the old 2 years out with COVID, we were waiting, bated breath for bringing back into the fold.
Now, one of the viewers, Chris Blockley, says, geez, these boys are starting their sprint from a crazy distance out. 250 plus is crazy. Are you finding with the sprints nowadays, well, obviously it worked for Cavendish early on, but that was downhill. And are you finding that the lead outs are sort of changing a little bit? They're going from a bit earlier out?
It's because they're so fast.
Yeah, today was downhill. Today was well and truly downhill. But every single sprint is different, and today we had a sort of a point where 3.8k out. It was a critical moment for us. We came into we had a roundabout which was it narrowed a little bit, and then we had a right hand turn which was tight, and of course for us that was a dangerous situation with GC guys. We only have the security once we get inside the 3 kilometres to go. So 3.8 was actually a bit of a point where once we got through, we knew that for Yatesy we were safe. But yeah, every sprint's different. Today was slightly downhill, and I don't know whether it's any different to any other times though, with sprints going earlier or not. But only today, just because it was sort of like a 2% downhill run to the line.
I suppose everyone wants to know how is Yatesy travelling. He touched down the stage before, and obviously there's a couple of sprint stages, so he can sort of recover a little bit. But how is he travelling?
No, he's all good, mate. He took a little hit to his knee, but it was a bit of there was concern there yesterday when it first happened, but he finished off as everyone saw on Etna there. It was he performed exactly to what we're hoping. Got some good treatment last night, again today. And yeah, it's all systems go there. There's no damage done at all.
Now, Bills, as a rider, you get a lot of fans after the finish line, and they all want bottles and so forth. But it does sometimes come at a risk. And you sent me a tweet. I don't know. Was this in Hungary?
It said Hungary, but I just saw on the newsfeed it was actually the Giro.
The Giro.
Yeah, it's Sam
Bewley.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he's tried to do the right thing here. Just want to take us through what happened, Bills?
Well, old mate's asked for a bottle. Sam Ewan's done the nice thing, handed him a bottle, but the guy's got a musette bag in his hand as well, and he's obviously forgot he's got it, and he's swung both hands out to grab the bottle, forgetting he's got the musette bag there, and it's caught him on the handlebars and taken him down. You can see the disappointment in the guy's face. Like straight away, look at him, throws his hands in the air. He's been watching cycling media for the last 12 months, and he's seen these Omi and Opar or whatever sign at the tour last year, causing the crash, and fans taking down bike riders, and the warnings that the pleas from bike riders, like, guys, we love having you on the side of the road, but just don't get too close. And he's
looked at the sky. He's looked at the sky and thought, "What now? What now?"
He's just got. I'm going to be on Twitter. Now I'm going to be on Twitter. He won't have Twitter, that guy, though.
No.
Well, at least it was after the finish. It's not quite as bad, but anyway.
Yeah.
No, it was very unintentional. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick drinks break. When we come back, we've got plenty more detour. And also, we want to mention after the break, Sarah Gigante's had a breakthrough win in Europe as well. So we'll touch on that. We'll be back soon.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike. 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Feel more in every moment. The all-new Lexus NX.
Fun fact, you can make cycling part of your next Let's Go adventure. With a bike, you can enjoy and explore even more places. So, feel the wind in your hair, book a bike, enjoy the outdoors and see more with a Let's Go motorhome today.
Thanks again to Bike Exchange, Lexus at Blackburn, and Let's Go Motorhomes. As we always say, support the companies that support cycling, and they all do that. Lexus at Blackburn, big supporters.
And thanks to Macca, who's just had to go to bed.
Oh, that's fair enough. Thanks for the insights, Macca. So as we said before, Sarah Gigante, if he had a breakthrough win in Europe. There's some great vision of her crossing the line and just the emotion. We've had her on the show a few times and talking about, coming back from illness. She was off the bike for, a number of months last year, but just such a positive person. But you can see just what it means. Raw emotion, John.
Oh, you know what? And she didn't just win it. She shit it in, as they say in the classics. 2.5 minutes. And you know what? She is a breath of fresh air. I don't know that I've ever met an athlete who has had so many challenges and just gets over them and just gets on with it. She is just a superstar.
Well, this is Sarah's interview after the finish.
Sarah Gigante, congrats, first win for you here in Europe, first pro win for you, I know. How was the day? How was this crazy and hot day?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I'm in such shock. It's just crazy. I've never made top 10 in a European race, so to make it my first top 10, top 9, top 8, all the way to top victory, it was just amazing. And the whole team was so awesome today. Like Paola, obviously coming in third was so good, blocking everyone, chasing from behind. But it was a whole team effort, like all 6 of us. So yeah, thank you also to Shayla, Lourdes, Catherine, and then Sarah was out front of there. It was amazing. And then of course we had amazing support staff too. I'm not going to forget Sebastian and Jorge yelling at me in the car. It was just incredible. I love the course too, so thanks to the organisers for designing such a brutal course. It's exactly the kind of race that I love.
Just a confirmation.
Bills, that is Media Training 101. She has thanked all the right people there. First win, she's ticked all the boxes. The team, obviously they're ecstatic that she won, but just that post-match interview, post-race interview, she ticked all the boxes.
Yeah, but she does it with like a bit of life, not like a footy player or something.
Exactly.
Like she's bubbly. You can see that she's excited. She's happy. She's loving life. It's good.
And genuine.
Yeah,
genuine.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my favourites, actually. I'll tell you, I've been saying it for a while. 2 years, she'll be world number 1.
Well, she's got the talent, but she's so mentally strong.
It's overcoming everything. Yep.
It does make a difference, Bills, when you're riding for someone that you want to win. Like you had that for years when you used to ride for Chavez.
And if he's right, like you saw, I don't know if she's going to be world number 1 or not, but he's right that it's like, when you look at the men's peloton, which I guess I consume myself with most of the time, you see the changing of the guard in the men's peloton now, with Nibali announced his retirement today as well. Gilbert's retiring, Valverde's retiring, all these guys are retiring, and the young generation are coming through and winning everything. Pogacar and even Apul and all these guys, and it's happening in the women's peloton now as well. There's the changing of the guard. You've seen Sarah come through. You've seen Grace Brown, if you're talking about Australians, Neve Fisher-Black, if you're talking about Kiwis, but all young women coming through now, and the older riders are getting to the end of their careers, and it's changing the guard. So you could well be right, Effie.
Now, one other thing I saw on Cycling Tips is where Mark Cavendish did a bike change. They're going to rename a bus stop after him, right, where he changed the bus in Hungary. Have you ever had that, Bills, in New Zealand, where you've sort of nicked over for a relief period and they said, right, we're going to name that ditch after Sam Bewley?
No, but when I was training in Boulder, Colorado, when I lived there, the first week I was there, I got told to meet at the bus stop in North Boulder, and I spent hours trying to find this bus stop and missed the ride. Turns out the bus stop was actually a strip club. So maybe at least they're not naming a strip club.
Surprised you didn't know exactly where it was, Bills.
Now, the Giro as a whole, Bills, you've ridden the Giro a number of times. You've had, obviously, successes there in the past as well, winning the team time trial, I think, in stage 1 of 2015. What is it about the race? Because you talk to a lot of riders. They just love racing the Giro. What is it about the Giro that makes it so good?
It's just like it's a race it's just like absorbed by the country. Like it's cool this year that it's finally back to what it was pre-pandemic. But obviously the Tour de France is huge and it's seen all around the world. But the Giro's got something real special about it. It's just got so much history. As a team, we've had lots of success there. since the inception of Greenwich in 2012. So it's always been a happy hunting ground for our team. But yeah, you just ride through all these little villages and parts of Italy that you don't even know exactly where you are, and it's lined with pink umbrellas, and the whole town's out. And Italy's just got a cool culture anyway in general, and quite a diverse culture as you make your way from the south up north, as they're doing this year. But the whole country just gets behind it, and it's just a passionate cycling fans, the tifosi as they call them. And it really is a special race and hard, really, really hard. So it's one of those races that when you do have success, it's no mean feat. Like the race just gets harder and harder as it goes. And, these mountain stages so early on in the tour, but then the last week's just brutal. It's always the most brutal week of cycling is the third week of the Giro, typically.
I remember that.
No, I think it's spot on there, Beals. It really is about the passion of the people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I remember that backstage we did where we weren't even really taking the piss. We said, like, we'll do the intro, like, real grim. And everyone was like, I think there was a shot of you trying to sip a coffee with the rattles. But I just remember everyone was so cooked at the end of that Giro, like, as you said, particularly that last week. And that obviously is when it gets hard to concentrate, to focus, to stay up and about.
And that 2015 Giro you're talking about, like, it was a brutal third week, like always, but it was also like this unbelievable battle going on that year with Saxo Bank with Contador and Astana with Aru, and these two teams were just beating the peloton up in the final week, and they like the battle was really close between those two for the GC, so they were throwing everything at each other. And we'd had a massive first 10 days, so we didn't have a GC rider then. I think we had Chavez was there, but he was really early in his career, so he wasn't riding GC there. But we had a massive first 10 days. We'd won the team time trial, so we took the pink jersey with Simon Guerin's day one, and then we held that jersey through, I think, 3 different riders: Michael Matthews, Simon Clark. We won, I don't know, 3 or 4 stages in the first 10 days. So we did a lot of riding, a lot of work, and we had a real emphasis on that first 10 days of the Giro. And we raced the Giro like it was only 10 days long. And then once we got into the mountains into that final week, we didn't have anybody that could win those stages, really. But we were all pinned because we'd just gone like so hard for the first 10 days with massive success, which was awesome. But then that last week, we were just like, we went from a team that was winning stages right in the front to basically the whole team in the gruppetto for 7 days, just trying to get through
it. Chris Lockley, I don't think he's talking about the Giro. What can Bike Exchange do to get Dylan in a stronger position at the end? Is it lack of trust in the last 2 men, or just needs a few stages to ride into his legs? Where's Dylan Groenewegen racing?
So it was stage 1 of Tour of Hungary today, and they were talking about it over the dinner table. And what happened, they had a really good lead out going. They came to a roundabout just before the last K, and the Bike Exchange went to the right. And it turned out it was one of those roundabouts where that was the long way around. So they've come back, they've gone into the roundabout in the perfect position, come out, 20 places further back, and that was it.
All right. And Wheel Wizard and Blake Quick won the Tour Series crit in the UK. 4 a.m. for this is a bit early. Sorry, Wheel Wizard. We love you chiming in live. You just have to get up early, Sam. Blake Quick, Bay Crits.
Well, he is the winner of the Bay Crits. I didn't want to mention that, but
of course you did.
He is quick. He is going to be a seriously good pro.
Now, let's have a look at stage 6, lads. Now, that hill early on in the stage is only a Cat 4. I say only a Cat 4, but it's it's early on in the stage. Obviously, yesterday's stage, Bills, we were talking about, if you're a non-climber and you're a sprinter trying to survive, any stages that you see mountains early on, obviously this one's not as tough, but they're not the great parkours for riders in general.
That one's much more realistically going to be a full bunch because it's just way too far, way too far from that climb to the finish. The only thing that can make it tricky for the sprint teams, which I don't think is going to happen, but let's be the devil's advocate here at the start. If the start goes for a long time and the sprint teams haven't been able to control it before that climb starts, and then a big group goes on that climb of strong riders, 15 riders or something, then obviously it makes the chase a lot more difficult. But they've got 25k until that climb starts proper. It's more than enough time, and there's more than enough sprint teams to control the start and make sure it's a small group and an easily controlled group. So, yeah, I don't know if you just said the wind. Is there going to be wind, do you think?
No, I just thought, I thought we're right on the coast, all about the coast. So you know what can happen there. Yeah. So there'll probably be a bit of wind, you would think. But yeah, look, Lotto and Quickstep will be, really wanting to get this one back after what happened today, and especially Lotto because McEwan, Caleb Ewan, that was one that slipped away. But great sprinter for Demar. All the same. I don't know if you looked at the finish, but the interesting one was Gamay, who was really in there with a chance. Yeah. He got slammed into the barricade. I don't know how he managed to keep it up.
No, he's done well. He's going to be an absolute superstar. He's one of those. Yeah,
I'm keen to see him in a full bunch, like a full bunch sprint. Like he's obviously super, super quick. But is he a pure sprinter? Like I don't think he's a pure sprinter because he won Ghent Wevelgem and he's from a small group and he's been right up there and hard. San Remo's climb with the front guys. So it'd be interesting to see him. I haven't seen him really in like a full bunch sprint with all the lead outs going, all the top guys getting a good run.
Is he a bit like a Trentin type rider?
Yeah, similar.
Probably a good analogy, but like you, Bules, I'll be interested to see if he can get it all right together in a sprint because his ride up the hill the other day when he ran second, was sensational. Van der Poel had to pull out every stop to beat him, and only just managed to do that. And if you have a look at the highlights of today and run it back without getting run into the barricade, he would have gone close to winning that today. So, he obviously can sprint with the quick guys as well. So, yeah, he's also got that cat.
He's got that ability that Caleb has, Robbie McEwen had, especially, like that he can fend for himself in those bunches. Like, often, in these Grand Tours, especially Tour de France, probably more so than the Giro, but you get on the quick step train running or whatever team gets a good lead out going, it's very, very hard to beat that sprinter, especially with quick step or with Cav. But Biniam has that ability to be able to find his way through a bunch efficiently, put himself in the right place and benefit of other teams' lead out. So yeah, it'd be good tomorrow if we get hopefully we get a clean run with no crashes and all those sorts of things and get a clean run at the finish with all the fast guys there and see who opens up.
A couple of more live comments. Ian Thomas, Tomo, he's a regular, but I like Tomo because he goes a bit deeper. He wants to get in the mind of riders. He says, Caleb will be gutted if he can't be part of the finale on the next stage. What will this do to his mental condition, Sam, if he has another bad day? Pissed off?
Yeah, he'd be pissed. He's a tough character, Caleb. Sprinter, like, especially like, there's always this analogy in cycling that, and it's true that you lose a hell of a lot more races than you win. And Caleb wins a lot of bike races, but he still wins probably only 20% of the bike races he starts. And that's, for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's mechanical, sometimes it's a crash, like on stage one. And sometimes you just get the sprint wrong. So he understands all that stuff. He's a professional guy. He's to me, he still seems like a young guy, but he's actually a pretty experienced guy now. He's been pro for quite a few years. Shows how old I'm getting. But he knows how to deal with those sorts of things, and they just get back on the horse the next day, and he's never too far away from a win.
Will Wizard, thanks again for getting up early, mate. Quickstep blew the race in pieces last time the race is staged with the wind, so he's thinking Quickstep going to light it up, Iffy.
Well, yeah, they have done it in the past. They haven't got the team strong enough here, I don't think, to do that. But more likely, Ineos would love to do that. They love to get aggressive. They're a little bit back to the old Ineos yesterday. No, look, it'll be a bunch finish, and I'll go for Caleb.
All right. Well, we've hit our half an hour. Geez, the episode's been great, short and sharp. You start the day early here in Australia. As we always say, make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/the Detour Podcast. Fellas, who are your tips for stage 6? Start with you, Sam.
Caleb.
Iffy.
Well,
Michael Matthews isn't riding.
Not about two seconds ago that I said that. But you whipped through the bloody ads again today, and you have given them no love.
What are you talking about? I plugged the website. I played the ads. You don't want to drive people away by going, this show's just all about the bloody ads.
We wouldn't have the show without those wonderful sponsors. You gave them no love at all, mate.
Mate, I gave them plenty of love. It's a balance. It's a balance between the listeners and the sponsors. You don't want to tip it over the edge. But we will say again, support people that support cycling. lexusofblackburn.com.au. Go check out their LX range. Some fantastic cars. And, of course, let's go motorhomes.com.au. And Bike Exchange. If you ever need anything to do with a bike, you know where to go. As we said, they're big supporters of cycling, so get behind them. Anything else, John? I
just had a message from British Cycling, who one of the guys I know in there, Keith Reynolds, good pro back in my day, or just after. They need a Let's Go Jayco motorhome for the Worlds in Wollongong. So I messaged to Jerry, no problem, look after it. So
hang on.
World.
Why would you look after the Brits? I'd give him one, but I'd have something wrong with the axle or something.
Or full toilet.
Yeah, that's it. Now, Will Wizard, before we go, he says Vanderpoel's going to win. That's not a tip.
Well, Maresco's gone, so he gets the sprint now.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Bills. And most people would know Sam not just as a bike rider, but on one of the best podcasts on the planet, the Social Distance Podcast. And we're going to be going live again, or not live, but close to live on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're going to have merchandise lined up for then? I think I've seen a few email threads. There's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it's a lot of pressure. No, we'll have some merch some point. We will. It's in the process. It's with the professionals. But next Tuesday, next episode drops. So like, share, subscribe. Set to automatic downloads. Social Distance Podcast.
I thought you were going to say something else.
New Zealand's number one podcast the other week, I see. Yep.
That's it, mate.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Till then, go Caleb.